Alrighty, watch fans, boom, boom, boom. We are live. The debut live stream show for Talk About Watches. Thanks for jumping in. We really appreciate it. Tim is going to be here with us in just a second. He's actually taking care of some technical issues within his studio. So he'll be jumping in here in a minute. So I'm going to cover a couple of things before we get right in. I know a lot of you are waiting to see Avi Vieira. I know a lot of you are waiting to see what's going on with Exoskeleton, one of the more popular brands out there, at least with a lot of you folks that are watching this. So we've got that coming up. We've got Sean from By Sean. We've got Gonzo from Beats by Gonzo. Mark's jumping in here. We've got some really great deals put together on this. We're going to cover a couple of things here first very quickly, one of which is technical related. Don't worry, no tests, no anything you need to be like really worried about in this particular instance. Pardon me as I reach over there to just adjust something there real quick. Sorry about that. Hey, that's what being live is all about, right? So, from a technical standpoint, we do hope this goes well. We have tested the heck out of this live streaming. On the off chance that something happens, don't freak out, don't go anywhere. We do have a plan B. May take a couple of minutes to get it set up, should it be needed, but all the tests have worked flawlessly on this. But we'll have information in the comments for you should something happen and we need to roll back to it. Please understand, as we're doing this, we are really walking the envelope on technically what is available. I know you see a lot of folks doing, live streaming to Facebook and other things, but usually what most of those people aren't doing, because there was even a guy, after we had the issues that we did with our first show, that just said, stream to, Facebook, easy peasy. Well, really, it's not. Understand, we've got 4 different people in 4 different states with 4 different computers of varying technical capabilities, with 4 different internet connections, all trying to capture as high definition video as possible, plus audio, and then send that up, into the interwebs so that it's muxed together, put together. While at the same time being able to see one another, which means you're receiving those feeds as well. So it's not what you usually see folks doing, especially spread out like that. And usually if you do see that, they've got tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment because they're in studios. We do not have hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment. But with that being said, before we move on to the show, the contest. Yes, the launch contest. No, we did not forget about you. I have everything I need right here in my formerly nicotine-stained hands, to turn a phrase. So I just want to let you know, we are going to be making the announcements. Don't worry, you don't need to be present to win. So if you happen to know somebody and they're not here, let them know. We will be doing replays. That's the other thing I forgot to mention. I'll segue to that real quick. If you happen to be watching this on a platform other than Facebook Live, yes, we understand you don't have a Facebook account. Guess what? 2 billion, that's with a B. So for those of you in Minnetonka, that's a really long number. there's a reason why we're doing this. We're not always going to be using Facebook Live, but we are going to use it for certain things, and we thought it would be appropriate here. But replays will be made available. You don't have to be on Facebook if you refuse to get that account. So back to the contest. Just wanted to let everybody know. Huge success with that. Just to give you a couple of quick numbers before we start making announcements on who won. We had a total of 1,799 total entrants, individuals that entered the contest, that accounted for 6,384 chances to win, or tickets if you prefer. And interestingly enough, we had one guy who just crushed it. 1,041 entries that he had into the contest. So he took that really seriously. So with no further ado, if I had a cart machine, I'd cue up the drum roll here. I believe we have a total of 11 prize packages to give away. So we're just going to run through these very quickly. Number 11, which is the Casio pack that I added. That is the Casio and the G-Shock Baselworld 2017 catalogs that they had in Baselworld when Tim and I were there just a few short months ago, as well as information that they put out on a Casio branded USB thumb drive, and a couple of really cool little gloves for handling the watches. But the way they did it, it was kind of interesting. That is going to go to Dan K. Jr. Believe I know that name from Facebook. Pretty sure that I do. Gonna shy away from giving out email addresses and full names. Obviously, this is going out on the interwebs, and we protect your privacy. But Dan, I will be contacting you and to make sure you get your prize package. There's no real value or MSRP, I should say, associated with that, because these were not items that were for sale. Number 10 on our list. Now, this is the Baselworld package from me, which is the big coffee table style brand book that is utterly amazing, still in the wrapping. Completely unopened. This is going to include the Baselworld 2017 red brand guidebook, as well as the Baselworld maps all put in there together. And this one I'm really happy to see, and I hope he's here. He probably is. Rick G-Lock. This guy, and I'm so glad that he won something, because he is, talk about watches, official subscriber number 1, viewer number 1, however you want to refer to him as. So that's great, Rick. I'll be contacting you, or you can contact me, as can Dan or any of the winners as we roll through these on Facebook. And I think Sebastian's trying to keep an eye out for anybody that may be live watching us. So if you are, certainly speak up and let us know. Number 9, prize package. Now, this is very similar to what we just gave away. This is the Baselworld 2017 Showbook package. This one is from Tim. So I believe with that one, you get the same coffee table style book, the red brand guidebook that is from that. And I believe Tim threw in the badge from Baselworld, which you can remove, and the Baselworld 2017 lanyard, and it's really actually kind of nice the way that they've done that. It has a little zip thing, so especially if you happen to work in a office environment where you've got a badge that has to be displayed, that's going to work. Richard F. and your last name ends in man. Richard F. will be contacting you directly. That is number 9. And on both of these packages, we put like a $65 MSRP value on there, simply as best we could determine. Buying a ticket, you couldn't get the book without a ticket. So that's what we are giving away there. Congratulations, Richard F. Now, as we move up, the next item is going to be 8th place. This is from one of our guests. This is going to be a product from one of our guests, by Sean. From Sean, a custom-made woven bracelet, MSRP value $99.95. So that means you're getting the upper echelon of the bracelet that he is going to custom make for you. Nothing off the shelf. With Sean, you're going to find out more about that from Sean. And this is going out to Brandon C. Your last name ends in a double E, and I'm pretty sure I recognize that from Facebook. Got a lot of fans and friends and everything on Facebook, so I don't always know that I am going to get those right. Actually, I did this out of order. That was going to be the 8th place, 7th place. So anyway, Brandon Chaffee. Not that the prizes were messed up. I just didn't read my handwritten notes. But going backwards, the 7th place prize is going to be from Mark. This is the package to get a watch of your choice polished. And the MSRP on that is $129.99, which is a great price given the amount of labor and work that goes into that. So that is going to go out to Brian, Bryan, if that helps. Last initial is H. SEN is the last part of your name, so that may identify you. Do we have winners? Okay. So anyway, that's 7. Now, 8th place, again, still goes to Brandon C., whose last name ends in double E. That is the $99.95 by Sean custom-made woven bracelet. And Brandon, if you're there, then that means that Sean's going to work with you directly on making that particular bracelet for you to match your favorite sports team, to match your favorite watch, whatever you like. 6th place. This is from another one of our guests later tonight. Beads by Gonzo. Gonzo is going to make you a custom bracelet with an MSRP of $129.95. And the winner on this one. Nice. I know this name. JTA. You just won a bracelet. I do know him. I know the name. JTA. A lot of you are going to know JTA. You just won a bracelet. And if I remember correctly, in your photos, I think you wear jewelry. So that's a nice win. And again, much like by Sean, and you'll find out more coming up, Gonzo is going to work directly with you to build the custom, essentially one-off bracelet for you, colors and the other options. But pay particular attention to the section with Gonzo. We're going to cover all that with him. Moving along, because we're pressed for time. 5th place with an MSRP value of $150 is going to be the Gentleman's Casio G-Shock timepiece in black with gold accents. One of the toughest watches you will ever find, and for those of you that happened to see a little while back, did a quick appearance for G-Shock on QVC. So my thanks to everybody that hung out and checked that out, left their comments and everything. That was a lot of fun. I haven't been on television selling watches in about 3 years, so that was kind of an interesting experience. Again, fifth place prize, MSRP 150. This name I do know because he has a last name that even if I could say it on the air, I would probably mispronounce. Roy T. Tis, and then yeah, I would mess it up. Roy T, I hope you're watching. I know you're very active on Facebook, so odds are you are. I'll be in touch with you. But you, sir, win a Casio G-Shock. Now, I just saw this. Next up is going to be the fourth place prize, which is the exoskeleton timepiece for the ladies. And a lady won this. MSRP value $399 on this timepiece. So Vicky, this name I know, and I'm glad a young lady won this. Hope you're not in the car headed to the bar. That was a very poor Boston accent. Vicky C. She's going to be well known to many of you. You win this numbered limited edition of, what does it say? 45, made for the world. So great to see exoskeleton timepiece. Vicky, congratulations again. MSRP $399 as the fourth place winner. We set that one out of the way. And third place is going to be, yes, from another one of our great brands that we hope to have on the air. Gentleman Warfare. This is going to be for the V1 Gent Stealth Automatic, MSRP of $450. And this is a great winner just because I have known him for some time. So I am so glad that he won. He has been very helpful to both Tim and myself over time. Tony D in Atlanta, Hotlanta. You got a hot new automatic timepiece that is coming in here to you. And again, that's the Gentleman Warfare V1 Gent Stealth Automatic, $450 MSRP. Tony D in Hotlanta. And moving along, we're almost done. Getting to the grand prize. And I have to go check something, and I apologize this because the rest of the name was not written on my documentation. Sebastian. What we're looking at is going to be our second Boy, I can't talk either. It's going to be a long night if that happens. Our second place prize, as I try to say that, from another great vendor of ours, Gabriel Ibarra, with a Skywatch. This is one of his new dive chronographs. Absolutely love the looks on this, especially because of the poppy red that has been done on the bezel with this. Great timepiece, as I said, $595. And again, I'm kind of stalling here for time because nobody wrote that down. So give me just 1 second as I make sure they didn't have it written down someplace else. Okay. Again, I don't know what it is with the odd last names today. That is going to go out. Again, we are talking about the Skywatch Dive chronograph with the poppy red bezel. This is going out to Dennis with 2 N's. Hummerling. Again, Dennis S. Dennis S. I think I remember that name. I am not sure. But we have your email address. We will be contacting you in regards to that. That is the second place prize, which, for those of you from Minnetonka, I have to. We are down to our first place winner. Number 1, numero uno prize. Now, this is going to be the John Marcel Swiss-made day date with the big day at the 6 o'clock position, 25 Joule ETA, 2834-2 automatic movement that has been done in this. And not only are you going to get the timepiece, the lucky winner of this, you're going to get a Orbita watchwinder. If you folks watching don't know Orbita, they are really well known for their watchwinders, one of the top companies in the world. This is, as far as I know, a custom watchwinder that was made specifically for John Marcel. So, what you are going to look at here is about a $1,495 MSRP on this particular timepiece. And again, if I had the drum roll, I would do this. Kevin L. Kevin L. Another name I know from Facebook. So all of you folks are very active on Facebook. One of the reasons why we're doing the live stream. Kevin L. Winner. Grand prize winner. Jean Marcel. Orbita watchwinder. Roughly $1,500 MSRP. I will reach out to you so that you can get your prize as quickly as possible. I want to set this off to the side since we're ready to dive into the show as quickly as possible here. There is, the rules are going to be out there, but generally speaking, the way this is working, we are going to reach out to the prize winners. They have a prescribed amount of time to be able to respond back to us to ensure all rules were set up and followed in regards to the contest and who the winners are. If someone happens to fall out, either does not respond, does not meet the requirements that have been set up for this, then we will make another drawing for that particular prize or prizes. But I'm assuming everyone else or everyone that was involved that won here is going to, get back in touch with us, right? Watch folks pretty good about that, and they're all online. So congratulations. Thank you to everybody. We are going to be doing more contests in the future, trying to set that up, but we're trying to get on a regular schedule with the show and everything that is going on there. And forgot to silence my phone. I shall take care of that momentarily because I see my partner, Tim Temple, the man, the myth, the legend, is ensconced firmly, triple word score, just saying, ensconced firmly in the chair of power. And he looks like he is ready to go. I know he's beyond excited to have Avi Vieira on with us, as well as some great stuff coming up with Exoskeleton again. So Tim, I'm going to turn it over to you. I'm going to go silence my phone. I'm going to turn it over to you, let you kick things off proper. Again, thank you for everybody that entered the contest. My hearty congratulations to everyone who won a great prize. I will be in touch. No, I did not forget about the prize for the questions. because we cannot get to the questions. I'm going to take care of you on that. But Tim, all yours, buddy. Take off. Let's start knocking this thing down.
Hey guys, so let's continue here and talk about watches. Memorial Day. Thank you everybody for tuning in. And it's myself, of course. Mike Davis is here, and I am absolutely thrilled, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are, to welcome Avi Vieira to talk about watches with Exoskeleton. Avi, thank you for being here. Yeah, right now, America collectively applauding. That is awesome. So why is Avi here? Well, Avi, let's just jump into it because there's a couple of things. Obviously, we got the huge retro deal going tonight, but before we do that, let's talk about XOS and the return of it, because I think that's pretty badass, frankly.
You mean badass like this?
Yes, like that. And also, if you'll bear with me, this stuff is so new that we just got this in the wrapping. So, or pink, and then there was this chocolate one that's pretty amazing. So, if you don't know, this is the, well, come on. Which one is the green one?
Yeah. It's like a really lovely billiard screen with like these deep emerald green stones. Absolutely incredible.
And a lot of you, like myself, have been such fans of XOS from back in the day. And if you are, you'll know when I refer to, and then Avi will certainly refer to, Generation 1, Generation 2. That's what these are. It's the return of this the intricacy, the sophistication of the brand is back.
It is, and it's exquisitely crafted with all of the details that you love between the stones set around the actual outer perimeter of the timepiece to the mother of pearl dials. I mean, those are stunning, are they not? The one I have on has this baby blue mother of pearl, which is just gorgeous. And then the white mother of pearl, I mean, it's top quality, absolutely beautiful. You're going to love it. And Tim and I were discussing that these are the 40 millimeter size, which is really convenient because a lady can easily wear them and not feel overwhelmed. But also, I don't want to forget about the gents that have smaller wrists, and you guys can wear these comfortably as well. So if the exoskeleton has been kind of overwhelming in the past for you, this is going to be a great fit.
Now, this is going to happen here in the next few weeks. I'm also thrilled to say that Talk About Watches has a deal. We have the world premiere and the world exclusive on them. You'll want to contact us for advanced info, and that is info, I-N-F-O, at talkaboutwatches.com. Also, if you're not on our mailing list, you want to get on that list, because I can tell you right now, there will be a pre-sale event for getting in on the brand new XOS. Okay, now that stated, tonight is a deal that I've been looking forward to in fact, this deal is so good that when it was first brought to me, I doubted it. And I actually went back, and Abby, you can appreciate this, and we double checked the price. So here's the deal. Abby's got, you talk about on the ground and why I think being on location is important. Abby was actually at the factory when these were being created. So she's going to be doing a lot of the show talking about what she saw and her experiences. But the gist of it is tonight, ladies and gentlemen, you have an opportunity at a literal once-in-a-lifetime closeout on Exo Retro. This was a line that was created in 2011. And so what's the big deal? And Abby, I guess I'll turn it over to you. To me, part of maybe the biggest deal was the DNA idea.
Yeah, the DNA idea was huge, and a lot of you know, but in case you don't know this already, there were literally years worth of planning and just kind of on the back end, even allowing this DNA process to come to pass, because it's the kind of thing where anybody could just say, yeah, we put a warplane in there, but the actual authentication process was massive. So you talk about just a legal nightmare to be able to authenticate every single one of the individual pieces that they actually did come from, you know, whatever airplane, whatever world war, and then having the process of getting certificate of authenticities made for all of these, which you'll also get the certificate of authenticity proving that every single one of these is original. Then you talk about the actual chemical composition of this, the amalgamation process that allowed this metal to be melted down and literally infused into the watch cases themselves. I mean, everything about it has just been just exquisite. And that's why when Tim told me the price, I was like, wait, I'm sorry, what? It's the kind of thing where I'm very happy for you guys because you'll take advantage of something tremendous. But the reality of it is it almost downplays the quality and the craftsmanship of the watches. I mean, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally do, Abby. And okay, so for those of you who don't know, let's talk about price because some of you know this collection and you want in. So look at the link at the bottom of the screen right now. That's live. Now, when you hit that link, it's going to give you a drop-down menu, and there's going to be 3 different prices. And I've actually got some quantity here, and I went back and forth with our source on this, and basically the rarest ones are going to go for slightly more. I don't know off the top of your head, Abby, if you recall what these retail. We've established they're at least $199. So I'm going to go with what I know to be true, which is $199. But I think some of these are more. So I'm going to list very quickly what we have, and then those of you who understand will dive in and you can grab them via the link. And I'll start with the rarest ones. There are fewer than 100 of the Spider. The Spider is the Spider 550, meaning the Porsche, most famous for James Dean. I'm not saying it's from his car, but a part of a Porsche 550 Spider was melted into the steel to create the watch, all right? There's fewer than 100 of that. It's available, I'll show you really quick, available in a baby blue, and hopefully that's coming out. All right, then you've got the Spitfire. The Spitfire is, I believe, this guy. Am I right? Yep. And that is a tan with black. There are fewer than 100 of the Spitfire. Now, we'll show you the packaging in a second, and it's crazy. The holograms and the authenticity. The other one, fewer than 100, is a P38 Lightning. P38 Lightning, you'll see it on the back of the watch. And then here is the presentation. I think this is one of only 2 gold tones we're going to show you, and it's got a lot of goldenrod and some tan leather, as in the tan leather color, going on with that. Now, those 3 are $69 against the $199 retail. They are a steal. Go get them right now. The next tier is a B17, and if I didn't set that to the wrong place, which I might have, here we go, the B17 Fortress. B17 Fortress, there are fewer than 150 of these. That is at $59.59, $59. Crazy deal. Also, in this group for $59 is the Black Phantom. This is the only one representing the Vietnam War. It is done entirely in black with fantastic red accents, domed crystal. These are all quartz watches, by the way. Specifically, they're Japanese quartz. To me, this is not about the movement in the watch. And Abby, you probably have an opinion on this. And to me, it's about the story of what's in the case.
Oh, no doubt about it. And again, the entire process, the intricacy of going through and, okay, first of all, acquiring the parts from these vehicles, from these planes was already huge, but then actually authenticating them and being able to put them into the watch case is extraordinary. Now, Tim, I found some contraband. I don't know if this is allowed.
Tell us.
I have some papers that have some prices on them, but they have MSRPs listed for these watches. $305 for the P51 Mustang.
Whoa.
The British Spitfire, 1940 WW2 World War II. $320 MSRP. Let's see here. The black tie quartz. Let me see if I can find it. I have a big old stack of papers, so I'll rummage through it. But the point is,
I just want to say, do you know,
either one of you, how many guys we just got in trouble? Think about this for a second.
Go on.
Dude's sitting at his computer. He's got his headset on. Wife or girlfriend walks by, sees Abby's beautiful face on the computer, and it looks like he's chatting with her. Somebody just got smacked in the back of the head.
Right on the head.
Pow! What the hell are you doing?
hey, There's lady watch lovers out there too that are watching.
There's
So
plenty of lady watch lovers. I'm just saying the guy that has this full screen when Abby's talking and he's got the headset on and it looks like he's chatting with you on the computer.
so I should do one of
he's
these.
got trouble.
Hey, it's good to see you again. Does that help?
Abby, dig around, see if you can find the Mustang.
Okay.
Contraband, because I did not get that contraband.
Okay, I literally have like this ginormous stack of papers that
Oh, okay.
I like collecting papers. Okay, I'm a paper hoarder. I will admit this, and so I literally have a stack.
We do not plan these shows at all.
Oh,
All right.
Lordy.
While she's digging it, I'm going to show you the coup de grace. This is the one I talked about on Facebook, and by the way, it's already blowing up. So I'm not going to tell you how many of these we have. I will tell you we do not have enough. What I'm going to show you is a Mustang times 4. Now here's the deal. Our source on this put all 4 of these, meaning all 4 packaging, all 4 holograms, all 4 cert of authenticity in a Mustang package. This is the first of 4. This is the black with green. Now, when you go to order this via the link at the bottom of the screen, there's really just going to be, order the Mustangs. Now, we are going to offer a few of these as a single. We're trying to work that out. And I'll tell you right now, they're going to be, I believe, on these $69 a pop. So if you run the math on this, all 4 of these, and this is the green with the black, are $149, which means it also qualifies for, with the PayPal credit, 0 interest and 0 down and 0 payments for 6 months. Okay, so that's the first, and then you get that one. This is the black with the tan. This is included, of course. This is the black with tan and light brown dial. And coup de grace, for those of you who like the ones that look like the cockpit, this is the black on black with the stark white numbers modeled after the dials, or I should say the controllers from the cockpit. So all 4 of those, did you find it? Because you are grinning. Tell us.
I did. Okay, so
Hey,
that-
I really don't know this, guys. So
that deal that Tim just had. Now, for those of you that may have just tuned in, I have some contraband paperwork. The Exo Retro men's P51 Mustang, okay, the WW2, World War II. I just did WWE wrestling, okay? That's why I keep saying WW. There's a show on Saturday night, WWE wrestling. So I know it's World War. Please don't email me and be like, Abby, it's World War II. I understand. Okay. So 1944 timepiece, the one that Tim just showed you. MSRP, okay, listing price of $305 each. It gets better, okay?
So the list on the package then is $1,220.
Yeah.
I have to ask the questions that other people are thinking.
Sure.
That's
What are you seeing?
4 watches
Yes.
for $149.
Yes.
These are not used watches.
No.
It's going to come in the packaging with all the appropriate documentation, paperwork, hologram, etc.
Yes.
Has Abby personally inspected each one of these watches? Got one guy wants to. I'm saying no to that one. I'm just saying no to that one on that particular question. Now,
I understand the question, by the way, but I'm going to say probably not.
so
let's do
shipping. Shipping. Tim, somebody wants to know if they're going to get.
Is included.
Right. So you're not going to get soaked. It's not one of those deals where they bait you in with a low price and then they hit you with some crazy shipping charge. Free. Right? $149, all 4 watches.
All the Exo Retros.
Sign, seal, deliver. What about warranty?
Warranty is 1 year.
And where is that warranty out of? Some crazy.
United States.
It's
No,
not.
They're not going to be sending these back overseas where you have to wait a really long time or anything like that. All right. You've probably noticed that both Abby and I have been going on and on about packaging. Now, again, for those of you who go back with XO, you know that that company was so fastidious. In fact, it's the same designer that did the Generation 1 and Generation 2 that created Exo Retro. That packaging was crazy. They actually went as far in Generation 1 and 2 to create a pod that would fit the watch. It was just crazy. All right. Now keep in mind, whether you're getting like the Spider, which by the way is blowing up, for $69, or you're getting some of the others at $59, or you're going for the set of 4 Mustangs, it starts like this, okay? Now keep in mind, what's the average at 140? It'd be what, $137 a watch or some craziness, something like that?
Can I just point out that regarding that box, that's actually a waxed cardboard box so that it's like moisture resistant. This is very carefully thought out.
Yeah, this
Are
one.
you giggling at that? That the box is waxed?
But they're all identical. All right, so you get that.
Michael.
So that's for starters, right? Then you get this. Okay? And this opens. Keep in mind, the most you have is 69. Mike is goading us now off camera for those of you who don't know. Yeah, for those of you that can't see stuff, there's things going on in the back.
The box is waxed. Okay, it's a waxed box.
And I'm not going to get in trouble. And in this particular case, I'm just not going to blurt out what just ran through my mind. I mean, we are a more relaxed atmosphere, but anyway, continue, Tim. I'm sorry. Yes, that will finish.
All right, this opens up. Inside of this is the instruction manual that will also detail the exact watch that's inside it.
And that's not a little chitsy. Go back to that for a second, Tim. The manual. Oh, it's huge. That, you know, and how many of you have received a watch? And I'm not saying it needs to be a book, but it's one of the things that I appreciated about the owner was the attention to detail, right? And you get this little postage size, matchbook size manual that is like impossible to read. And this has got, I mean, it's top shelf. It's very well done.
Well, and here's the thing, you know, given Memorial Day and all that means, and by the way, if we haven't said it, if we haven't said it thus far, obviously thank you everybody for your military service. And that's one of the things that we thought about with the majority of the timepieces that we've got from Exoskeleton, you know, does have that military, you know, theme, you know, that has been done to it. But if anybody's ever seen, and he actually just came out with a book, which I highly recommend, Admiral McCraven. And he ran all of the Naval Special Warfare, SEAL teams and whatnot. But the speech that he gave to the graduates at the University of Texas not too long ago was about making your bed. Now, I know that sounds crazy. Let me tie that together because I just saw a look. But the point was to take care of the small things. And when you look at people that take care of the small things, the small details, what other people would overlook, the bigger things are going to be there. And that's kind of what I was saying with the manual and the rest of the packaging that's going on. The small things are being paid attention to.
Right? The attentiveness is there. So when it gets to the watch itself, the rest of the documentation, Abby's got the certificate with the hologram.
And plus, how cool is it that, and I'm very envious of Abby that, you know, she got to kind of participate in the whole process, but to have the actual DNA. Now, there's a ton of people out there that make, you know, a military style watch, a pilot style watch, right? And they package it and it looks good and whatever. How many of them actually have the DNA of that military model and in you know, in this, you know, the Spitfire, the Phantom, you know, actually in the watch itself? That is just such a cool process. And to have in your collection and to be done at prices, I mean, even going back to the because nobody's like prying eyes, spying on, anything that we're doing. But when you go back to those numbers, a sale price is barely below what we're able to bring you a 4-watch deal and at free shipping and not, like used watches.
And you're getting a 1-year warranty, and you're not having, if something were to ever happen.
Let's face it, sometimes it does, no matter what you try to do. You're not shipping it off to some foreign country that you've never heard of and can't find, on a map easily, like some of the companies have. So when you look at the pricing on this, man, this is just ridiculous. And I know how ravenous the EXO fans are. So, besides them being very happy to see our buddy Abby back and talking
About watches.
I know the lighting's not as good up here, but I wanted to show you guys a scale on an actual wrist. So my wrist would be comparable to the wrist of a small gentleman. Tim's wrist is sizably larger. So there it is on a proper man wrist.
Well, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't say he has a proper man wrist? How about an improper man wrist?
Oh, I see what you did there. I like how you think, Abby. Like how you think. Okay. I'm in a position where I can really see the responses here, and basically, if it was possible to blow out the internet, that's sort of happening. So I'm going to go, if you guys are cool, that I'm going to bring the spider out, and we'll get some initial thoughts on this, because if we don't do this right now, it's frankly going to be gone. So this is the spider. And to be very clear, this is based on the Porsche Spyder 550, which I believe is, I'm not that big of a car guy. Is it 1953 to 55? Does that sound right to you guys? Let me look here. Some notes.
I thought it was a little later, but
53, 56.
Okay. Well, I just know
According
it
to
was
the
a
net.
James Dean car, not in the watch, but the car that he
was driving. Yeah,
55.
It is the same model. We're not in any way saying that this is literally the James Dean car.
Yeah, it's 1955 is the answer. 55.
Go. I will wait for Sebastian to confirm it, but I'll be stunned if that's not already sold out. It is among the rarest, and we did start with fewer than 100 of those. So, kind of on a roll here. We just moved.
Can I just try it on though? Do you mind?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, of course. Yes.
I really love this color, by the way.
Oh, that sky blue is gorgeous.
And it has a really nice kind of antiquated brown color. It's almost like a very light tobacco. It's got this earthy tone to it.
Well, and I think Abby brought up a great point, a little while ago. In a more traditional size at 40 millimeters, this is going to cover a wide range of folks, right? So again, ladies obviously are wearing much larger than 40 millimeters, but easily wearable, traditional size for a gentleman. I mean, Tim and I were, just in Basel, Switzerland a couple of months ago in March. I know that some folks out there would think that 40 millimeters not being made anymore, but it is a traditional size, for the gentleman. That teenager in your life, the one that wants to go in the Air Force, the one that's into, planes, it really covers a lot of spectrum. And the great part is that, what was the options again, Tim? So 59 or 69, depending on the model for a single Porsche. Yeah, exactly. The 550 is 69. Or
I want
you
to.
get the four for 149. You can split them up amongst the family if that's what you're looking at doing. So,
I want to talk about my contraband paper again because I found this one as well. Isn't this fun?
Nobody's paying attention, Abby. Go ahead.
I hope not. Look, I literally have this like janky file folder. I have to show it to you guys. That says exoskeleton on it, and I keep it at my house with all the papers from all the things.
So like on a Saturday night, you're not busy doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, Oh, what the hell? I'll break out the XO stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah.
That's right.
No, I'm a pack rat too. Believe me.
I did not say I was a pack rat. I said I was a paper hoarder. There is a difference.
Well, I'm a pack rat.
I do hoard
So I'm
papers.
worse.
Okay, so the 1955 550, which is this one for those of you that are fortunate enough to be able to get one. The suggested retail price on this was $305. It listed for $191, and the sale price was $157.84.
I haven't heard from Sebastian, and I'm suspecting that one is likely gone. The next scarcest, which is also under 100, is double check, is the Spitfire, and that is the black 10 on 10. It's also the only one with the perforated leather, somewhat akin to a flying glove or driving glove.
That one I personally own and I love. I have to fight my husband off because he wears it as well. So it's a really great timepiece. The perforated leather makes it exceptionally comfortable. So if you're one of those people you don't like to break in your watches, this one is going to have that kind of broken in feel from the second that you get it on your wrist. It feels really nice.
So this one is the Spitfire. Now, I don't know a lot of trivia about World War II machinery in general, but I do know this one is, to me, it's not trivial. The Spitfire is the only plane, to my knowledge, is certainly the only British plane, where 100% of the production saw combat, and that is due to the Battle of Britain. So this means that by definition, the plane that contributed to this case literally fought the Battle of Britain. I don't know of any other watch of which that is true. That one is also $69, and that one's probably not long for this world either. I know we had fewer than 100. The third in the 69 category is the, I'm sorry, Abby, go ahead.
We got to see that plane in Virginia when we did our photo shoot.
Yeah.
We got to see a British
I
Spitfire.
will try to bring in some of those shots, and they are spectacular. That was a great photo shoot.
It was fun.
P-38 Lightning. This guy, P-38 Lightning. Fewer than 100. It is one of only 2 gold tones we'll be showing you guys tonight, and it is the final one in the $69 range.
So Tim,
Yeah.
on the 4 watches in the package deal for
Yeah.
$149,
Yes.
somebody wants to know,
Uh-huh.
because everybody's sending me like private messages.
Oh yeah, I'll bet they are.
Put it in the regular chat thing there with we'll do the links again. But
All individually packaged in the 4-watch deal, all with their own paperwork, right? Nothing's being subtracted from, like a single watch to put together the deal. You be just like if you bought 4 of them at $59, you're getting this at $149, and it all with their own packaging, paperwork, holograms, whole 9 yards.
Correct. It is no different than if you bought 4 single examples.
Great. So
Saving a fortune.
I love that because you could gift them. I mean, you could keep one for yourself and give out 3 gifts, and they're going to be beautifully packaged and, come in the whole XO retro box, which of course comes with the certificate of authenticity. You're going to get that for every single timepiece. That's going to be inside the box. The information card, which I love as well, because it'll actually show you this beautiful silvered image of the warplane or the car, as the case may be. And then on the back, it's going to give you the story of the metal. So if you can't remember how that came to be, it's going to say containing authentic and original metal recovered from a military legend, the North American P-51 Mustang. This timepiece was born to create a sensation. And then the certificate of authenticity is included, which says that you do actually own that metal. And of course, under the instruction booklet is your timepiece. I think this is upside down, but there it is.
And this packaging is all custom, by the way, designed specifically for the XO Retro Collection. This XO Retro Collection is brought because we have an exclusive arrangement with our source on this. Frankly, it was a factory deal. We got all of them. And when we call these sold out, it's done. If there's any doubt, seriously, please pull the trigger on this. We're not going to magically find more. I asked for all the quantity up front, especially when I knew what the deal was going to be. So that's it for the 69s. Let's get into the 59s, of which there are 2 This one is going to be the Flying Fortress. It is the only other one done in gold tone. By the way, you gotta love the lug setup on these things. I gotta mention that.
Well, and yeah, I don't know how much we can speak to the former owner that designed these, but one very sharp individual.
in putting these together, and probably formulated the process to be able to bring the DNA of the original metal into. Oh, and this is a good point, Tim, because you and I were talking about this. The 316L stainless steel in this particular watch, correct? That's what we were.
Yes, on the back of the watch is 316L, and Abby, I believe, was actually at the foundry when they were doing this. I don't want to speak out of turn. I know at some point Abby was. So the case contains the DNA, and it's 316L steel on the back.
Exactly. So the case itself is what's going to contain that amalgamated metal that has the parts of the, whatever it is, the warplane or the automobile or what have you. And another thing I want to point out too is as you see this reflected in the light, you're going to get kind of a bluish tone that comes off of that crystal. That's really important as well, because that is the ultraviolet protection that's on the underside of every single one of these crystals. So you are talking about 18 layers of UV protection. And the reason that is so important is because it's actually going to maintain the integrity of your timepiece over time. So you are going to have protection from, UVA, UVB, UVC rays, and you're going to be able to maintain the color. Here on this particular timepiece, on the seconds hand, you have that little luminous marker, so that phosphor is not going to wear out over time because of that protection. So a great attention to detail. I mean, especially considering the price. And that's why the price was, Tim and I actually had a phone conversation about this, and I was like, Tim, you reach a point where you're kind of degrading the product by offering it at such a low price. And I actually tried to push for it to be higher. No offense to you guys, but I was like, man, at least, let's knock it up to $89, $99, because that to me is more suggestive of the quality of the timepiece. One of those things like it seems to be too good to be true, so it probably is. That's how I feel about these, that, especially those of you that haven't experienced this timepiece before, you're going to be expecting to receive a $70 watch, and you're not. You're receiving watches that the suggested retail price is $300 that they originally were selling for $150, $160. That's more indicative of the quality than what you guys are actually paying.
This is such an amazing deal. If you were on the fence, and you get the guarantee of satisfaction, of course, but you will be satisfied with this. This is the other one in the $59 range, so it's fewer than 200, I believe. And again, I'm assuming, because I haven't got quantity updates here, so we'll see. This is the only one representing Vietnam. It's done entirely in black, and I believe, let me double check this. Yes, it's called the Black Phantom. Here it is across the back of the watch. This has very bold, you think of the original classic military loom in the mint green, along with white and red accents, contrast red stitching in the black leather strap. And this is the look on. And of course, as always, you'll get your hologram and everything.
Well, and I'll throw one thing out. When I was talking to Tim about this, when we found out we had the opportunity here, and of course I ran through several questions like,
yes, he did.
And while we have a more relaxed attitude that you might not have seen any of the three of us been in prior, say, professional endeavors, I can't repeat exactly the phrase that I used when he told me about that. And then, of course, I'm running through the litany of, are these like seconds, or these used, or how are we getting this price? So we ran through all that. But one of the things that I did do was pull up Google and started doing searches, looking at pricing. And I encourage you to do that. Actually, I found basically the same pricing or higher that Abby was just talking about with her super secret paperwork. But The other thing that I found, which is important, is any place that you could find, right, that was some sort of online store or e-commerce, does not have these. Not one place did I find that even went, oh, hey, we found one behind a box in the warehouse, and we're... Now, you may find that kind of a crazy, one person found one, but from everything that I could see, these are not available. You want to pick these up? I know a boatload of you picked these up, when they are originally available. Maybe you missed out on some options that you couldn't get at that time for whatever reason. Maybe they sold out from underneath you. Whatever the case may be, now you can complete that collection. Or if you're going, damn, this is just a good deal, you've got an instant collection for $149, tax, title, and license, as they say, out the door. And you've got an instant collection of your own, which the nice part is with the different colors, it's like you're wearing a completely different watch every day. Very few people are going to go, wasn't that the same watch that was like blue yesterday? Yeah, you're not going to get any of that. So I just think it's a heck of a deal. And like I said, I know how rabid the fans can be about Exoskeleton. Abby and Tim did some awesome shows. She's still, I'm sure, in communication with a lot of the folks that came from that, the customers and the friendships that came from that. So I think it's just a fantastic opportunity, but do act fast, because like Tim said, these are gone. That's it. I mean, they're not limited edition, not trying to put it that way, but this is it. This is like the only quantity that we know of remaining, and pretty much going to be a one and done. I'm sure, at least on some of the models.
And to Mike's point, to our knowledge, this is worldwide. We don't think anyone else has this.
Well, I did do the Google search outside of the U.S., Tim. Just saying.
I'm sorry?
I did do the Google search to include outside of the U.S.
Okay, I thought you might have. Thank you for clarifying that.
I'm just making it clear.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about the Mustang, or what's left of them. Meaning the set of 4.
Well, one of the most iconic airplanes in World War II. For anybody old enough, which this would, exclude Abby unless she's seen it in reruns. If anybody was a Robert Conrad fan, Baba Black Sheep, just to throw out an old TV reference. Yeah? No? Anybody? Pretty much sure that's the plane that was in that iconic show from back in the 80s. But, again, how cool is it to have that actual DNA of that timepiece? Think about the person, and I want to hear from whoever it is, because I know somebody's doing this. Their dad, for instance, let's say, was a Phantom pilot in Vietnam. Maybe their grandfather is an aviator. What a great gift to pick up for somebody, especially during the holiday that we're celebrating now, and remembering those that gave the ultimate sacrifice, but we also remember those that are still with us. So there's a lot going on, and even the car history, right? So that kind of segues a little bit from the military, but the Spider. I mean, is there a more iconic classic car than James Dean and his Spider? I mean, that was a big deal before he had the unfortunate accident, but I mean, that was a huge deal. You pop that into Google and look at the images, of him.
And there's, Abby outside of the secret stack of paper showing you what your watch is going to show up with.
This is the secret stack.
Nobody zoom in on it.
I know, right? You'll see all kinds of secrets.
We got, anyway, not going there.
Did you guys not save any of those? I still have everything.
So we'll segue away from that.
Do you want a good segue? Look, here's a segue for you. Look, from here I look like I have no clothes on. Right?
And 60
America loves you so
people
much right now.
in 9 different states just injured their neck because they were looking at the webpage and then slung back when you said naked.
This is mesh. Do you see this mesh?
I do.
So it's like a mesh top that holds it on, but it just occurred to me as I leaned down, I was like, wow, from right here, it's just flesh colored. Looks like nothing.
Now, see, we should have started the show that way. And then more guys would have been smacked in the back.
This is why I had to come to an office, because if I were at home, that's probably how I would have been dressed. That's how I decide whether I'm going to do something.
Tim's not wearing pants. Just don't know.
That's nobody's business.
There you go.
You know, you got to be comfortable when you're selling watches.
I'm telling you, though,
talk about the watches again.
I determine whether or not.
By the way, links below.
I determine whether or not I'm going to do something, like if I get invited to a social event, by whether or not I feel like I can get dressed. Because I'm like, man, clothes are a bummer. Like, who wants those? Right?
Well, I'm just saying, I can go up naked.
No, you can't. Apparently you can't. Okay, these are things I asked my husband about. He's like, hey, we're going to go to da-da-da. And I say, do I have to put pants on? And he's like, sadly, yes. And then I'm like, it's a no-go for me. Thanks, though.
So give your husband my phone number and tell him he needs to call me. I'll explain things to him. But I know so many people are happy to see you back, especially with exoskeleton.
Ooh, and speaking of
the success you had there. Now that's a hot one. How would you describe? Now we've got the images again, links below, but the different colors that are being used there, Abby, because you're like the fashionista and whatnot. How would you throw out like the strap, more of a royal blue?
This strap is a true royal blue. The stones that are surrounding it would be kind of akin to like a blue topaz blue, or if you've ever visited like the Caribbean islands, that kind of color blue that's in the water. And then the one that I'm wearing also has a baby blue, which is kind of like a sky blue dial, but it's also going to be available in a mother of pearl. Now I know we don't have these right now, but I couldn't not show them to you.
Yeah, dude, like a tease, like showing up to social events without pants. I had to find some way to get back to that level of conversation. I'm giving her a hard time. Haven't seen her in a while. So, I don't know, Tim. What do you think? We need to start looking.
Why don't we do this? Abby, thank you so much for being a part of the Talk About Watches family. We're thrilled to have you. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
And I think if we can twist her arm off camera, she might hang out for a little bit and kind of chat with the folks, because I know a lot of people probably were a little taken by surprise that we have our special guest in CNXO. So maybe we can do a little arm twisting in the background. But fantastic to see you again, Abby.
Questions about the new XO. So again, our email address for questions, info at talkaboutwatches.com. And if you are not a part of our mailing list, we'll put a link up, of course, for that as well. Yep. Get on that list.
Now, if the retro's not enough for you at the, I think I'm confident, Tim, in saying world's lowest price ever seen.
By far. And that's still blowing up, by the way. So if you guys haven't pulled the trigger on that, seriously, some of that's over 80% off. Grab it.
So what we're going to do is sweeten the deal, right? So, and quite honestly, even if you didn't pick up a retro, this is a deal you might be interested in. Those of you that have been following me, you've seen the pictures I've done on Facebook. I'm a self-admitted jewelry whore. I like to pair up my bracelets with my watches, and that's why we reached out to Gonzo, Mark, at Beads by Gonzo. Many of you will already know him and follow him. He's got his own little cult following on Facebook. I think he's going to have people camping out back in tents at his house soon, but we'll talk about that later. Give out his address. But he makes some phenomenal bracelets, so you can match up. If you got the retro, this is going to be a custom. There's nothing off the rack. Understand that. And Gonzo's going to talk about that in just a second. But there's nothing off the rack, right? So he's not making bracelets and putting them in little packages and they're sitting waiting to be shipped out. He's going to work with you specifically, whether it's one of the retros or another timepiece that you have in your collection that you'd like to get something made for, he's going to work with you. Now, we're going to have 3 different options, 3 different prices. We're going to talk about what you get at each one of those levels, but it's like if you've ever had it done or seen it done where somebody's getting a suit made for them, that's kind of the way that Mark works. He's going to look at what watch you've got and come up with something. I highly recommend them. They're in my collection. He's going to be making some more stuff for me. I've seen some of the pieces that he's done that really kind of got me very, very excited. And Tim, I know you've been a fan of Gonzo's as well, and reached out to him very early on in the Talk About Watches process, and you've got your bracelet on as well.
Yeah, I do. And for the record, this is my personal stuff. This isn't like I walked over to inventory or something. That really is my bracelet, which is built to my watch. Really quick, and we're going to let Mark, also known as Gonzo, get into this for you. I want to talk about the pricing tier because we worked a lot on this over the last week, and the issue is Mark has literally hundreds of different beads and exotics, and okay, the issue with that, because every bracelet is made custom for you by definition. Because he's got hundreds of these little options, that rapidly changes into tens of thousands of possibilities. So even if he was making these in advance, and he's not, there's no way we could possibly list them in a drop-down menu, right? So here's what we did. You're going to see a good, better, best. So let me go over this very quickly. There's going to be a link. You'll see that obviously below. You click that, and that's going to go, of course, to the option of good, better, best. Good is exactly that. And here's the cool thing. The quality of the core, what makes the bracelet last, is absolutely identical. The way it's built, the core of it, the mechanics, the way it's put together, that's absolutely identical. So, good, you're going to have your basic bead and so on, and everybody, I'm pretty sure, gets the exact same custom laser work, which Mark's going to get into. So if you want to try out BBG, and sometimes maybe basic's all you need because you're putting this together for the exact watch that you want over and over. So it could be that or a team or whatever you want, right? Okay, better is exactly that. Everything that the good has, plus now you're getting into more exotic builds and some layerings and so on. Best, that's shoot the works. Now we're talking about really high-end Balinese silver. You might want it layered in gold. You've got the most exotic beads and so on and so forth. So that's good, better, best. So just follow the link below. That's really easy. Also known as Gonzo, we know him as both Gonzo and Mark. First of all, Mark, thank you for not only being on the show, which we love, but you were so receptive when I reached out to you some months back, and Mike Davis and I have this startup project. Is this something you want to do?
Yeah, I got to tell you, first of all, thank you for putting this show on for all of us watch freaks.
Our pleasure.
Me being one of them, but most importantly, guys, thank you very much for bringing me on to be a part of this. Like we've been saying for months, this is going to be the best watch show ever, and I can tell by the following already that it's going to be just that. So I want to make sure I wanted to thank you for that. But yeah, like you talked about, these things, I've been a watch freak for a long time too, and I got an idea one day just to try to match up one of my watches. I went down to the local bead gallery little store here in town, and I bought some beads that matched the watch I was wearing. And way back then, it's like almost 5 years ago, I would post on just Instagram the watch of the day pictures, right? And some guys would comment, "Hey, that's really cool. You know, did that bracelet come with the watch? How can I get one? Where'd you get that?" And of course, I would, I made it, and that started out really slow back then. I'd make one, for guys once in a while. And then I saw that that Facebook had all these different watch groups too, and I started posting my watch of the day pictures on there. And of course, like everybody that's probably watching and seen, you've seen the hashtag Beads by Gonzo. Well, the best kind of advertising and the best kind of marketing, especially in this social media craze, is word of mouth and getting the stuff out there. And it just started to build and build and build. And I made my page, Beads by Gonzo, on Facebook about 2.5 years ago. And not exaggerating, not bragging, just state of fact, I have had orders practically every day since then. I've made bracelets almost every day since that fateful day that I started the page on Facebook. It's really blown up, and I couldn't be more happy to get the stuff out there and to be a part of this Talk About Watches crew.
So we're going to have 3 options, right, Mark?
Yeah.
So we've got the good option at $44.95, and we're going to have the better option, a little bit more, $59.95, and then we're going to have the best option at $99.95. So, and obviously, because this is a custom build, a custom design, a custom consultation between you and the purchaser, but give us a little bit of an idea, a quick idea in regards to what's going to be entailed at the good, better, and best lineup. Because I know a lot of your customers are going to take advantage of this, just because you've been kind enough to give us some, incredible pricing here, and everybody knows, that knows your work, knows that this is a hell of a deal. So give us a little bit of a breakdown on that.
I gotta stress this. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The materials I use are genuine gemstones. Some of the upper end stuff that we're going to be offering are, like Tim said, 100% pure sterling silver from Bali, and I even have some that have been layered in 24 karat vermeil gold. And I got to tell you, this stuff is just gorgeous. I got some really good contacts and some pliers that come right from Bali. So this stuff is uncut. I mean, if you want to call it that, it's just truly beautiful. And how it works is, typically I'd get a picture of a watch, right, from a customer, send in their watch. It's really important too. We should talk about this. Is I need to get the wrist size because these things are made right, custom for each individual, each customer, each watch. It's really important that I get an accurate wrist size. But then they would send in a picture in their wrist size of the watch, and then I would build in talking with them, because I want to get their input, their likes. Some guys like skulls, some guys like crowns. Some people just want the gemstone bracelet, which would be the good or the better rating. But we also, about a month or so ago, I got an idea to design and make my own, and we'll have some examples that will be shown here, to make my own, what I call knot hiders, okay? It's just a silly term that I made up because obviously these bracelets are made of the best material. I have, it's a 1 millimeter stretch cord, okay, that I use. Super, super durable. I mean, I've had bracelets for years. I've never had an issue with them. And what I do is I pre-stretch the cord for every bracelet. It's pre-stretched. But I tie it with a, obviously,
Mark?
yeah.
Mark, and I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's
I want
fine.
you to pick right up where you left off. What does the pre-stretching accomplish here? For those of us that don't know the making of this, what does that accomplish for us?
Okay, that's actually a good question. The cord that I use is the most durable that you can get. And because these things are on the stretch cord, you need to be able to get them up and over your wrist, daily,
Right.
multiple times a day. In doing so, you don't want these things after a year or two to be dangling, like that off your wrist. That won't happen. So I pre-stretch the cord before I start stringing the gemstones onto it. Because I've had these bracelets now for a year, and you can see they've still held their shape. So that's why I pre-stretch it, and then it's tied with a super strong I call it a Boy Scout knot, because I was a Boy Scout. But excuse me. And then I put a couple of dabs of jeweler's glue on that knot. And then to hide the knot, I designed this BBG knot hider. And I have those made. I designed the shape on a CAD computer. I have them made, and then I have them sent out to a plating company here in town that they anodize it. Okay, now anodizing is, I work in the aerospace industry in my real job, and we manufacture aerospace and military stuff. So this anodized process is a process that puts a layer 2 to 4 tenths thick of either clear, black, and gold. So I have clear, black, and gold anodized knot hiders. They'll never chip, fade, peel. They'll last longer than all of us. And then I have them laser marked with the BBG abbreviation.
And I'll tell you, the first thing when I got yours in the mail and went to put it on, I knew something was different, because as soon as I felt the stretch as I was putting it on, it was different than what I'm going to refer to now as the crap that I had owned prior. Before I even checked out the beads, before I even, because I've got the combination, with the metal and the actual beads themselves. Just that, and it was just one of those things that you feel the quality in it almost immediately. Like if anybody's like, got a really nice suit jacket, and the first time you put it on, and you're just like, oh, holy crap, this just, it feels different. It feels good. This is what it should have been with everything else. So, I mean, the quality is fantastic here.
Yeah, thank you for saying that and for noticing that, because I hear that daily from customers getting their first, Beads by Gonzo bracelet. They always talk about the quality, always. And another thing that they mentioned right away is, I can't believe how heavy this thing is. I always tell them, heavy equals quality. And you get one of these things in your hand, and you'll feel it. This is the real deal. So I'm glad you pointed that out.
I'm going to interject if I may. Can you walk us through a good example, a better, and a best example, please?
Yep. See, what we're going to be calling a good example would be a genuine gemstone made just like all the rest of them. A genuine gemstone bracelet, maybe with some silver or gold spacers on it to match the case and the bracelet of the watch, and no add-ons. That would be just a basic bead bracelet. Then the next step up is going to be what we're going to term the better. And that's going to be the same build of genuine gemstones. It's going to have, some guys like to have skulls, crowns, Buddhas, whatever it might be. And then each one's going to be different, guys. So I want the customer to interject their likes. That's going to be the better of the three. And then the best is the big kahuna. It's going to be, it could be, a grade A tiger eye bracelet with either the sterling silver beads, what they're called focal beads on top, and we'll have some pictures of that coming up here soon. And they got gold, if you want. It's going to be the best of the best. And there's some companies out there right now that are selling these things for a lot more. Not here at Beads by Gonzo. We're gonna have some good prices for everybody.
Well, and Mark, let me just ask you this. So, and I know we have to be a little generic here, but let's say I'm a regular customer coming to you, and I want something within the best quality, right? So in this case, we're saying Gonzo's giving us that best level at $99.95. What would your best level normally go for if somebody came to you? And again, I know there's customizations you can do, but let's keep it relatively simple. Instead of $99.95, how much of a savings are we looking at here?
Oh boy, I'd say anywhere is up of $50 to $100 in some cases on some of the ones that are out there. So
Okay.
it's a huge savings. It's big. And
So in other words, all the traffic that I'm seeing on the website right now to your page that that we've got, and we're going to do the link again here in just a second. That's probably a lot of your existing customers snapping up some deals.
yeah.
And also, needless to say, you probably won't be answering too many emails for the next few days as you're ensconced in your studio fulfilling these orders. And by the way, folks, and throw this out because I think Tim wanted to mention this as well. These are, to emphasize again, these are not off the rack, right?
No,
So if you
no.
place the order today, Mark's not going to be shipping you your bracelet tomorrow. Right? Now, we're not talking, crazy, 6 months from now you're going to get your bracelet.
Maybe 4.
But he is going to work with you to give you the options. What are you pairing it with? Here's what I can do for you. But he does churn these out, I've got to say, because I've had, some offline conversations with Gonzo about this. I'm amazed at how fast he churns these out. And, kind of like our Martin Braun Renato, he doesn't have a room full of people making these bracelets for him.
No, it's just me.
You're getting Gonzo DNA. Well, no, that's just...
No, you don't want that.
It sounded really good, and as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like...
You knew it that last second before you said that it was oops.
It was like, no, not the phrase to use. But at the end of the day, I want to kind of shift things up. I know we're getting ready to kind of wrap on this as we do have to move on because we have time limitations within the Facebook live streaming. Well, Mark, you're going to be back.
I know I am. I'm gonna be I'm a permanent fixture, whether you like it or not. I'm here.
Oh. Well, then I'm keeping this bracelet.
Yes, you are.
So, Tim, I have a question for you.
What is it about Gonzo's pieces that drew you in?
That's a great question. So I'll tell you, one of the things that got me into it is I'm watching all of the watch guys on Facebook react to his work. And at first I didn't know it was his work. I just knew it as these guys had these bracelets. And first of all, they look visually stunning. And so I'm starting to track down, okay, I should be checking that out. Then I find out these are actually custom built to the watch because my first is, how are they getting the color so exact? And I thought it was actually multiple companies that, they so-and-so's got the purple, so-and-so's whatever. Come to find out, it's one artist consistently doing the best work. And so then I tracked down Beads by Gonzo. And I started looking at the images, and don't take my word for it, go look at his page. It's right there on Facebook. I don't have anything to do with that. And you start to look at what the guys are posting, and it's over and over and over. And so that's when, months ago, when Mike and I are first putting together this idea, the 21st century way to see watches and own watches and save a lot of money on them with accessories, I said, I wonder if this guy'd be interested in playing, because it's obvious that the quality and so on is there. And that's why I ordered my first. This was custom built too, and this is my own personal watch, the Renato Martin Braun Moon Phase, and Mike and I will get into that a little bit later tonight. To put this on is absolutely stunning. In this case, it's done with actual pieces of lava. I've got some silver in there. And that's, again, good, better, best. You guys pick the tier that you want. Gonzo's going to be in direct contact with you. And based on the tier that you purchase through Talk About Watches, you're not only going to save a lot of money, you'll get every piece custom made. So that's how I got involved, and I'll be ordering more. And I'm glad to see, as I'm watching here tonight, so many of you responding. I can tell you from personal experience, you will love the custom work that Mark does.
I gotta say one thing about interjecting. I know that bracelets aren't for everybody. I know that. But those that like them love them. And when they see, I'm gonna brag a little bit. When they see the Beads by Gonzo bracelets and they get them teamed up next to their watch for their first time, they fall in love with them. And I know they're not for everybody, but I've converted so many people who, I'm not really a bracelet guy. Well, you know what? When they get one, they turn out to be a pretty good customer because they actually see the quality, the craftsmanship, the one-on-one that we have with the customers, and the interaction there. They become fans real quick.
Well, and because we do have time constraints, so we gotta wrap it up a little bit here. I do want to add.
By and large, I can tell in my interactions and conversations with him, this is a passion of his. This is a love of his. He talks more about how much he enjoys the reaction of people when they get their bracelets than he does like, oh, gee, Mike, I killed it last week. I've sold, and I'm just making up, I've sold 50 bracelets. Woo-hoo, making it rain. No, he's talking about, oh, they love this stuff, right? Try the good. Get it home.
Get it on your wrist.
Experience the entire process that is unlike running down to the local Mega Mart and, buying something that's been sitting there and, get something custom made for you. Whether it's for those of you that are picking up on the Renato Moon phase, whether you're picking up on the stupid, ridiculous deal, which again, if you're just jumping in, we'll do the links. Just give it a sec. But the exoskeleton, or any watch in your collection, okay? I already know Mark's customers that know him are going right to the better and the best. Most of them are probably going with the best because they're saving so much money. And I'm also just going to throw this out as well. If you're just saying, no, this isn't for me. Like Mark said, that's great. We understand, right? It's like a watch. Not every watch is going to be for everybody. Do you have a girlfriend? Do you have a wife? Because I'm willing to bet if you pick something up and give Gonzo, a heads up, we'll have everything put together on that. He can work with you to make that next birthday present, that next anniversary, or you really want to make brownie points, you just come home and go, by the way, honey, because I love you, here's this custom-made bracelet that I ordered for you, and he can match it to her favorite purse, her favorite piece of jewelry, her watch, anything, really, right, Mark?
Oh, chicks dig them.
Let me interject, guys, really quick. Can you hold up to the camera a good, a better, and a best with a quick verbal?
Oh, geez.
Okay, this would be, here's a really good example of a good. This is just a good. Look at those beautiful stones on this one. And then it's going to come with some spacers if you want spacers. And the spacers I use gunmetal, black, white, silver, gold, whatever. And that's just to further bring out the color of the case. And then, of course, the beads would match the dial or whatever part of the watch we're focusing on.
And just to throw out real quick, folks, keep in mind, like we were saying earlier, we're streaming all this. We're trying to do it in as high quality as possible. Hopefully that works for you. We're going to have images representative of the kind of work. But there you go. So keep going, Mark.
Okay. Next, we're going to bring out. Here'd be a really good example of what would be, I guess, a better. And these are beautiful. These are white howlite stones. And if you can see that bling ball on there, see, we'll have pictures of all this stuff too. But
well, and let me just say, you're going to be making me a howlite bracelet soon because I absolutely love howlite. If you're not familiar with howlite, think of white turquoise.
There you go, with some black veining in it, they call it. So, yeah, super popular stone, good heft to it. But this one has what would we call an add-on item. Okay, the add-on items are going to be the ones that are going to be considered the middle of the road better. So this one just happens to be a bling ball. But think about skulls or crowns or dragon heads, Batman, whatever you want. That would be considered the better of the three. And then you got this one. Okay, this one is the best. Okay, this is grade
That
A.
is ridiculous.
This is grade A tiger eye, and you can't get a good visual on the character of these stones, but it's, and I've been seeing beads now for 5 years every day, and the supplier I have for these is unbelievable. These stones are just beautiful. And then this one has 3 focal beads on top, and these focal beads are straight from Bali, and they're handmade sterling silver, 925 sterling silver, and then these particular ones are layered in 24 karat vermeil gold. Okay, and then of course it's got the BBG knot hider that we spoke of earlier, tying it all together. And then we also have them in, the sterling silver. So that would be considered the best. But then again, there's going to be different variations. You can get whatever kind of stones you want. I'm just giving you an example because, like Tim was saying earlier, there's the possibilities are limitless on these things. So.
Well, we're going to do the links. We're going to post, so that you can see that. It's going to be on, if you haven't seen it yet, on the retro sales page that we're directing you to. It's towards the bottom. From there, you can link into more specific information. There's going to be images. If you have questions, Timmy, give them the email address for us if they have questions, so that we can try to answer them.
Sure. The address you guys want to write to is info at talkaboutwatches.com, and we will get back to you with the answer as soon as possible. Again, follow the link down below. When you arrive at that link, you're going to see a good, a better, or a best. Decide at which tier that you want. And of course, if your order does total 100 or greater, you will have 0 interest, 0 payments, and that is good for 6 months with approval in PayPal credit. So there's a really affordable way to go there.
That's awesome.
And also 0 down. So it's one of the most flexible payment options we think in the business today. Mark, thanks for being here today, man. We appreciate it.
Thank you guys very much. And again, I want to say it again. Thank you very much for bringing me in to be a part of this. I couldn't be happier, and I got a good feeling about this. It's going to be a really good thing. So thanks again, guys.
It's our pleasure to introduce the gentleman that created by Sean. Now, a lot of you will already know him from Facebook and various interactive stuff. What he does is fantastic. He's taken his military background, which of course uses this extremely durable and colorful cord, and I don't really understand it, but I'll let him explain that. And he's creating custom bracelets that you can use to perfectly match your watch, or I guess it could be corporate or whatever you want, right? So very quickly, I want to go ahead and get into the 3 tiers that we've set up, because this is the key. This is custom. And this means that every bracelet will be custom made for you, matching, in our case, the watch, right? Whatever you want. So there's going to be a good, a better, a best. And then, of course, the prices, as you can see, are according to that. There is a link here at the bottom, so all you have to do is click that, and you'll immediately see the options. And of course, we're going to be illustrating this. And Sean, I want to get you involved right now. First of all, thank you for being a part of our show tonight. And thank you for letting Sean be a partner with Talk About Watches. If you would, can you talk a little bit about 2 things? 1, how this all came to be, the concept, and 2, what is in good, what is in better, what is in best?
Absolutely. So just to give a little background, like Tim said, I did start this when I was in the military, roughly about 10, 12 years ago. And the reason that I initially started doing this was for survival purposes. These were, as most people may know, they were actual survival straps. And some people have seen them before. And the concept was that if you're in a dire situation, if you're behind enemy lines or someplace, or you didn't make it back home, that this strap or cord would be able to be used to do certain things, such as making, lean-tos, being able to lash things together. In some instances, you can even make it into a reel to be able to go fishing if you have something there that you could tie a worm onto it and go fishing with it. I've even done some things where there's actual hooks inside of the cord so that it can actually be unwoven and can be pulled out, and you can have that hook so you could go fishing. Some other ones that I've actually done too were for police officers, where in just a crazy possible case where it's needed, I've actually woven in cuff keys into the cord, so if they get cuffed up for some reason, you know, horrible zero factor, nobody wants it, but in case it does happen, they're able to get themselves out of a very bad situation. I've made multiple ones of these for myself for each of those situations. When I was in the military, I was a guard down in Guantanamo Bay for about 1.5 years, as well as then going and working in the aviation side of the military, and worked and had a bunch of things there. So kind of going into the, like what Tim said, the good, better, and best, I've come up with specific weaves right now that are good, better, and best. This one right here is going to be the one that is going to be under good. Now, as you can see on this one I call it a sidewinder. All my weaves kind of have snake names. So with this one, you're going to get something that is very flexible. It's got a nice movement to it. And with this one, you're going to get anywhere from, pretty much you can have it 2 to 3 different colors. And all of them are going to be coming with a higher quality metal buckle on them. And that way you'll have a very solid piece of what I like to call wrist candy, if you will, that matches your watch or anything else that you want. If you just want something that's like team colors, you tell me what team it is, I can match it up exactly. The great thing about these is I literally have close to almost 1,000 different colors that I can choose from to be able to get something. It's not going to be just solid colors like you saw there. This is another one. This is kind of my navy one here. It's kind of got a multicolored blue, what would be almost like a blue camouflage or digital pattern to it. So with that would be what's going to be at the good level. And going from there, I have what some people I believe saw Tim have the last time, which is, this is exactly right there. And that one is going to be at our better level. At first I thought this was going to be at the best level, but I'll explain what's at the best level here in a second. So with this one, it's a lot thicker. It's a lot, as you can see, based on the other one, which is kind of thin. You put this one on top of it, you can see that it's a lot thicker. Now, it's not as flexible as the other one is, but it's still got, you know, some flexibility to it. So it'll curve around. And again, with that nice solid metal buckle there. So, and this is actually what I've called an anaconda weave because of how thick and durable that this one is. So, moving on to the best, and the reason that I called this the best, it's not that it looks any better, it's actually the amount of time that it takes for me to weave this one. Because with the other ones, it's the first one takes about anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes to make for a bracelet. The middle one takes anywhere from 45 minutes to maybe an hour to make. And then this last one, which is what I'm calling a boa constrictor weave, can take anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour to even more. Now the reason for this is because I can't even use like my jig or my thing to actually keep on it. I actually have to hand do this all one knot at a time. Now this one also is you can turn it, twist it. It is the most flexible, probably one of the most comfortable ones as well. And it will also come with a metal buckle. But the best thing is I can do this up to 6 different colors. I've made a rainbow one before. I've done thin blue line ones for police officers. This is one that I made a little while ago, and it's kind of like Irish colors. I made it for my dad because he went to an Irish fest and wanted something to kind of match for that. And I've also got another one that I made for the school that I went to. But the great thing about these is, like I said, it also has some stretch to it. So you can see kind of it'll flex and kind of stretch out, so it'll give plenty of room, to be able to get to where it needs to be, and it'll be very, very comfortable while you're wearing it. So those are kind of the levels that I have for you guys.
Well, and I've got a question.
Yeah.
So let's say, Sean, I'm a guy that doesn't want as wide a bracelet.
Yes.
But I still think what you're doing is like really cool. Can you make them more narrow so that they're not as wide?
Yes, I can, and this kind of comes into the customization, the total customization. If you're wanting something more narrow, I don't have any of them here. I've made them before for people because that question's been asked quite a bit. What I actually do is it's called gutting the inside of these, because each of these is solid military spec 550 cord, so it's got 7 strands inside of the cord. So if they want it thinner, what I can do is I'll just remove the core from the actual inside of this, and that way it's going to be it's pretty much it's a gutted version. So you won't be able to use it for a survival purpose, but if you want it to be a little thinner, it'll definitely work, and it'll still have the exact same look. It'll just be exactly like you want, thinner.
Right, okay, great. And I do want to say, ladies and gentlemen, you were here when weaving was explained to Tim Temple. See, now, the reason I say that, I know that's not what he meant when he said it in his little intro, but there's a lot of stuff going on in the background, so you weren't seeing Sean and I cracking up when Tim was like, I don't really understand this. And I'm like, it's weaving, dude. So just something else I can give Tim a hard time about, because Sean and I were kind of cracking up the way it sounded. So, and the other thing too, and it's the same thing with with Gonzo and his bracelets. Everybody really needs to understand that what we're looking at here is custom work, right? It's not like Sean sitting around all night every night and making up a bunch of bracelets and stock colors and designs and putting them on a little hook and just waiting for the orders to come rolling in. He is going to work with you when you make your purchase, right? So you're good, you're better, you're best. He's going to get an idea of what you want. Is this going to be to match a watch? Is it the XO Retro? Excuse me. That you're buying? You want something to match it? Is it a different watch in your collection? He showed you the one he did in his school colors, so maybe for your high school, the college that you went to, the pro team that you support, he can work with you on that. If you've got a completely different watch, right, that's out of the picture, so he's going to work with you on the colors and exactly what you want and really customize this to put this together for you, so it is not off the rack whatsoever. Tim, or Sean, either one of you, I don't think we talked about pricing at those 3 different levels, so let's get that out. Of course, it's on the page. We'll put the click out there, but let's give everybody an idea as to the pricing that we're looking at before we get into the spinners.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, for the good, which is the one that I showed you before. Again, I have tons of different ones on that one. And
Anaconda.
no, this is actually the Sidewinder. Yeah, Sidewinder, because it's like side by side. So this one is they go for $65, and the reason that they're marked at that price is everything with what I'm doing comes, like we've said, the customization, the time it takes to go with you, and the time it takes for me to actually make them. So that's why they're priced at the point that they're priced at. So the good is going to be $65. Then the better, those are going to be at, I believe they're at $80. And the reason for that is this one actually takes more material as well, and it takes a little bit longer in time. So that's the reason for the jump in price there. And then the best, it takes a long time to do these, and it is very customized. It is going to be exactly what you want. And it's like I said, I can't even really use my tool, my jig that I have to create them. It's almost mostly done by hand, and honestly some of it is me wrapping the cord around my foot and putting in some of the weaves itself. So that's why.
Wait.
Everything's fine, I swear.
Wait, if I'm making fun of my buddy Tim for having to have weaving explained to him, you just can't throw out, well, I wrap it around my foot and have me let that go.
I wasn't expecting to have you let you go. I was honestly waiting to see what somebody was going to say about that. It's that
You just kept right on talking like nobody was just going to bring that up.
I was going to just try to just, throw that in the middle and see what would happen.
I am expecting a by Sean. Now, see, I'm going to stop myself right there. This time I caught it before I actually said it, because I know if I start making foot video references, some people are going to get interested. We don't judge. The handsome guy.
Please.
Ladies out there would love to.
I'm actually trying to work on a setup to attach to my jig right now, so even in the next couple days, I've been working on it. I've actually ordered a special jig to try to help, because that was actually one of the things that's been one of the hardest things to try to figure out. And I actually am trying to custom make an attachment, which is actually almost done, that I'll be able to just attach it to like the side of it. And I'll show, like, videos are, once we get this going and some orders are in, I'll have videos of me actually making all of these people's orders so that you guys can actually see how it's all done. So it's not just, okay, he says he takes 45 minutes to an hour to do this. I'm going to actually have a full time-lapse video from start to end on... Oh, yeah, I'm going to be working on that to show you that it's not... People sometimes think, some of these... I've heard people do these from 10 to 15 minutes. There are weaves that can do 10 to 15 minutes, and I could do 3 or 4 of those an hour. They're pretty much super simple. Those are the ones that you'll see on all the sites for $5 to $10. Those are, made in China ones that, and they're not good quality. And that's the whole point of this. This is going to be the higher quality, and I don't mess up. I mean, or if I do, I fix it. There's not going to be any mistakes in it. There's certain things that you have to do at the beginning. You have to make sure everything's the right length. That's a big thing, because if you don't get it the right length, you're going to get to the end and you're going to be like, oh, crud. I have to somehow end this and I don't have enough. This is what some people do. Some people will actually fuse on more cord and finish it. And it looks terrible, because you can go back into the weave and you'll see the point where they fused on more cord. I don't do that. If it's not the right length and it's not the right thing, I'll completely dismantle it and I'll take the cord and I'll make the cord longer, and it will be seamless. There won't be any of that weird fusion in the middle of a cord like some people do, because they don't have the extra supply or extra cord to make it work. All of my fusion is going to be at the very end. It's going to be at the very end where it's supposed to be. It's not going to be in the middle. It's not going to look ugly. It's going to look the way that it's supposed to. And even in some of these, like with this one, you're not even going to be able to see where it's fused. Some people will use like a Bic lighter, which doesn't really control the temperature, and it'll char it. Yeah, like you can see with Tim right there. The fusion is right there at the end, and it doesn't get charred. That's what some people do with the Bic lighter. What I have is I actually have a cigar torch that I control the temperature on, and I get it torched even, it's a lot hotter, so it'll torch it faster so it won't char it. It'll actually make it the color that it should be, and it'll be a seamless, it'll just mold together like it's supposed to. That's another one of those quality things that I have that most people that are doing these things don't do. They just don't feel the need to.
Well, and just because we're under some time constraints here, I don't mean to rush you. And obviously, you're on board with us for this wild ride here, not just this first airing of the By Sean custom bracelet. So you will be back with us. We do still need to talk about the spinners, and I want to start doing that. But I do have one very important question that I'm sure other folks that have minds that work like mine, I know there's probably a couple of you that are wondering. So I have to ask, have you ever done one of those weaves where your foot was involved and then you like wove your foot in there and couldn't get it off?
Just at the very beginning, I actually did one where it got, as I was making it.
I knew it. I knew it.
It was horrible because I didn't think it was a problem, but as I was doing it more and more and tightening more and more, I didn't even realize, I had to actually cut it off, and it ruined the whole thing. But yeah, it got too tight around, and I was just like, oh, crud. And you don't realize until the end because it's like, it was down, it was a big mess. It happened.
So, let's just hit the spinners real quick because we're doing the same kind of good, better, best. Now, these spinners are really cool. Before I let Sean take off on that, because I have to kind of admit, before I got to know Sean, and we've had interactions online and some of the testing and whatnot that we've done, I didn't really know that these spinners are like as popular as they are. I had to, after talking to him, I had to go do a little research, and then I'm like, holy crap. No wonder he's making these things. And they're very, very cool just for carrying around and having some fun with, learning how to do little tricks with them, or just, sitting in an office environment, right, where you need a little stress relief, or you're sitting on the phone talking and you're like me and you're doing this. Just having something to kind of occupy your hands, or just keep spinning this thing because the idiot on the other line of the phone. And what's really cool, and we don't have enough time to dig into everything, but Sean was going through some of the design construction and the various different phases that he's gone through. So I'm going to kind of turn this over to him and let him speak to the three levels. But he's actually doing the weave thing, right? That's his gig. But with the spinners and doing some ornamentation as far as decoration goes, and I will kind of set this up because he showed this to me and it makes sense, right? So a lot of schools, now correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, because I'm speaking from a slight position of ignorance, right? So there's schools that don't like these things because all the kids are using them too, because of how loud they are, and it's distracting. And part of what he's going to talk to you about is how his don't do that and why. So I'm going to, just turn it back over to you. Good, better, best. What do we got with the spinner?
Sure. So, like Mike was just saying, these are my two, what we'll call good spinners. These are going to be the most basic ones. Just little, almost very pocket size, not even much bigger than some of the actual sizes. And I'll show you, right here. Great little spin for that one. And then I got the other one, which has got a couple of nuts on it. And I'll
referring to Tim and I
as everybody just sits there and stares at it. What I'll do is I'll actually put one literally right up against my mic right here, and you won't hear anything here.
Well,
I mean, obviously you could see if I'm like here.
Wait, no, Sean, do this. Hold it up to the camera. Now, with your other hand, just like tap on the table or the desk there.
All right.
Okay. Now, spin it.
And?
So there you go. Virtually silent. Tell them why that is virtually silent. I thought the story that you told me was pretty interesting about what you're doing there.
So the biggest thing, this is crazy. I did a bunch of research on different types of bearings, trying to figure out, there's certain ones that, you can get the 3-4 minute spin times and it's super great and everything like that. But the problem is with that is they're loud. They make that noise that drives teachers, everybody crazy. I went with some specific type of skating bearings and did tons of research on them and found out which ones are literally virtually silent. And that's the reason why you'll see in the prices why they're a little bit more than what you would expect on certain spinners. Is the difference is again, handmade and also quiet. Not just quiet, but almost like Mike said, virtually silent, which is the big thing that anybody wants, because it, like, if you're in your office, if you're out someplace, nobody wants to hear it. They want to see it, and people will definitely see it. That's the crazy thing. I carry one of these around with me pretty much every place that I go, and it catches everybody's eyes, because not just because it's a spinner, but because it's different. Most everybody have those plastic 3 tri-spinners or whatever, and everybody has those. That's not, that's the average Joe thing. These are going to be different. They're going to catch people's eyes just based on, looks alone. So, and also what I've done with these is I've put in nuts to give it that extra weight so you can get a good spin on it. So,
well, then let's talk good, better, best, what the prices are, what they get.
All right. So for good, I believe those are priced at $20, and that is what I call the buy one here, which is just the 2-sided one, and then the smaller 3-pronged one here, which just has a nut on each one, just one on each one. And the reason that these are smaller is through the research I have done. Some people have smaller hands, because it can only fit through a certain spot. So if you've got a smaller hand, these are great for a smaller hand, or even,
Oh, like someone's kid?
Yeah, exactly.
Buy one for?
Maybe.
Just throwing that out.
Exactly. So the next level up that I have is going to be the better level, which is going to be these two. So I'll show you this one first. This is going to be the tri one. It's pretty much the big brother of this one, except it's got 3 prongs and it's got 6 nuts on it. Now, the other difference is these are going to be, I believe they're marked at 40. Now, people are wondering, holy crap, that's a big step in price. Well, the reason for that is the bearing inside. The bearings that I have are, literally, the bearings are a good, better, best value as well, because they're going to give you more spin time. And again, just the better that it gets, the more quiet that it is, which, when it's already virtually quiet, doesn't really, bring any justice to it until you actually see it and hear it. Now, this is going to be the 4-prong one here. And you can see that it's actually spinning a lot longer than even the other ones were. And again, this is all the research that I did for all of these. And these are, like I said, they're $40. And also the thing that I've done is most people don't even do this. They have bearing caps, folks. They are not just a bare bearing where you have to pinch the little inside. No, these actually have the caps on them. And I did a lot of time finding a place that will actually have those. So that is a big, big plus for all of these as well. So then we've got our best. Now the best, anybody that knows some things about spinners, these are a hybrid bearing. They are the ceramic and stainless steel. So they can take a beating, they can, weather elements, everything that goes against them, it will work. Now, the big difference here, other than just the bearing, is also, you'll see here, we've got some ornamentation here, like little skulls, and we also have an upgrade to some of them will have brass nuts instead of just regular nuts. So, again, the spin on this, that was I barely even touched that.
I can get brass nuts?
Yes, you can. So
I know Tim's been looking for some brass nuts for a while.
No. Yeah, and then this is another one. I just made this one. This one's got, it's horrible picture, but you've got wings and a cross. It's kind of,
even with the spinners, we're talking custom work, custom done to your colors. At the level, what kind of ornamentation and decoration do you want? All of those sorts of things. Nothing off the rack, custom designed for specifically what you need. For yourself, for your kids.
So if you want something that's all one color, we can do that. And in the listing, it'll say how many different colors each one is able to have as well. So that's going to be coming into everything as on the different levels as well.
So they're great additions to your timepiece. Like I said, you guys have heard me say it. Everybody cracks up when I say it, but I am a jewelry whore. You know, Sean's working on my bracelet, so I've got, you know, something coming in here soon. You've already seen Tim's on his wrist, and you know, again, I just have to say, you know, Sean's just a dude, right? And I've made so many wisecracks, I'll leave that one alone. But and by that I mean he's a watch geek, just like the rest of us, right? And this is, you know, if you're familiar with the term and the guy who kind of originated it, you know, this is his side hustle, right? So he hopes to make some money on this, but he's not hiring a whole bunch of people that sit in another room that are, you know, with their feet or without. They're not weaving anything for him, right? It's going to be his foot on your back. I'm kidding. But no, seriously, I mean, you know, exactly. Just not quite the way they thought. But, you know, it's a passion that he has, that he's working on this for, and helping you get something that is going to mesh and work well with your other, you know, shared hobby or passion, which is timepieces. And, you know, whether it's matching the watch, whether it's matching, you know, the NASCAR team with the, you know, particular racing colors, or high school or college or pro team, or your daughter's soccer team, you know, just the possibilities that you can put together on this are really almost limitless, you know, as far as what we're doing. And that's both for the spinners and also for the bracelet. So it's a great way, especially considering the weekend, tying in that kind of a military theme and the origins, you know, even for Sean's own military service, you know, but where the bracelet started, why they were done. And that's especially why, or one of the reasons why we especially wanted to get Sean in here. Tim, before we turn it back over to Sean for like some final comments, and again, we'll be doing all the links below. Give it a sec. But anything you want to close out here with?
You know, the only thing I want to mention, I think it's very cool that he capped the bearings on that, because much like a wristwatch, if you left the crown open, right, and you have dirt and dust getting in there, it's the same thing. I think I'm right, Sean, with these bearings. And so when you're talking about the other sources, your bearings, which this lives and dies by, are perpetually open up to the elements and invariably dirt and dust. Okay, you eliminate a lot of that. I thought it was very, very smart. And for people that want to get the, frankly, superior builds, I think you've really come up with the answer. So good for you.
These caps aren't out there. It took me a while to just find some place that would actually make them for me. And the great thing too is, even with the caps, they're customizable. I've got almost 40 different colors for those, so I can work with literally everything is customizable on this. Is not just the color. I mean, it is the color. It's not just the types. If you want better bearings or something, that's how everything gets figured out. So everything that is here can, you know, we can figure something out in that good, better, best range for everybody.
If you have any questions, Tim, we're using the info.
Is that?
Yeah, any questions you have, info at talkaboutwatches.com.
We'll get Sean involved as needed if we need to, but once you make your purchase, he's going to have that information. He's going to be in touch with you. We'll work all that out, and then you get your custom bracelet. So thanks, Sean.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Yes, thank you, Sean, and a big thank you to Mark from Beads by Gonzo, and of course, Avi Vieira bringing us Exo Retro tonight. And the biggest thanks of all goes to all of you guys across the United States as you joined us for this live event. Have a great evening. On behalf of Mike and myself, we'll see you back here very soon for another live Talk About Watches. We'll see you then.